Start the clock. The next question, the member for Davenport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This question is for the Minister of Education, given that the Premier seemed unable to answer it yesterday. Speaker, Emily Jenkins is a drama teacher at Parry Sound High School. She grew up in the community, and she came back to teach, which is a job she loves. But after 12 years, Emily has received notice that her job is now at risk thanks to this government's cuts to education. She told the Parry Sound North Star that her family is already cutting back on groceries, curtailing expenses, considering all options, including selling their house, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Emily's story is sadly not unique, especially in her board, where 240 secondary teachers have been declared redundant and only 37 are being brought back. Is the minister really going to stand here again and claim that her cuts won't result in job losses?
The questions from the Minister of Education.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I have to tell you this. I cannot believe that the member opposite, day in and day out, stands up and perpetuates nonsense. Because the fact of the matter was, I know that she very carefully worded her question because she knows full well that teachers across this province, as happens every year, are in the current process of being recalled. You know, let's take a look at this. 82 teachers with the Lambton-Kent District School Board who were rumoured to be out of work by next school year, and those rumours are continuing to be perpetuated by the member opposite. Guess what? All of them are being recalled in Lambton-Kent. And the Toronto Catholic District School Board are very much pleased and announcing through social media that 100% of their high school teachers will have a job in September. So the list goes on and on. I thank the school boards in Ontario that are choosing to work with us, putting students.
Thank you. Thank you. The supplementary question.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and believe me, I wish I didn't have to ask these questions every day either. Speaker, this minister will try to blame everyone but herself for these painful cuts. It's real people and real families who have to deal with the impact. At least, in Toronto at least, 90 child and youth workers, 7 occupational therapists, 10 social workers, 14 speech-language pathologists, and 4 ABA facilitators were let go yesterday. Wow. At a time when we know youth mental health should be a priority, students are going to have to do without in-school supports. And at a time when more students on the autism spectrum will be losing funding and spending more time in our schools, there will be fewer qualified adults to support them. Speaker, will the minister take an ounce of responsibility for this mess and scrap the cuts in our schools?
Minister to reply.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And you know, I find it very rich coming from the member opposite. She is a former member of the Toronto District School Board, and she knows full well, that the fact of the matter is this is an exercise that happens year in and year out. And the reality is we're investing $700 million more in education, and that member opposite voted against it. Speaker, this is absolutely preposterous, the manner in which they're continually saying the sky is falling. Let's talk about what we're doing. We're increasing awareness and exposure to the technology and skilled trades, like the Premier referenced earlier. We're increasing funding for financial literacy. We're increasing funding for math. We're increasing funding for special needs. Speaker, the list goes on and on. And finally, Ontario has a government that believes in education, and we're investing.
Thank you. Thank you. Stop the clock. The general noise level in the House seems to be increasing during questions and answers, and I would ask the members to please come to order to allow us to have a reasonable question period.